Welcome to Fortnite Origins, where I'll be covering certain topics such as characters, factions, and realities. And one of the most notable factions I'll be covering are those from the Imagined Order, the Last Reality, and the Seven. When it comes to Fortnite Origins, I present obvious evidence to cover most of my claims, as well as something that is from the past, present, and future, and also from major chapters such as Chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and currently Chapter 7. So sit back, relax, and to all my loopers out here, let's learn some lore. Ladies and gentlemen, this is official. Dark Voyager has done the impossible. For the past couple of days, he has been lurking in Reality 337 to get the last 0-point shard through the glass, and as of this update on April 30th, as I'm recording this video, he actually did it. And I know this for a long time that the elites are gonna lose this because Dark Voyager is way too powerful, and with the use of the Chaos Cubes, while the elites are using Corruption Cubes, they honestly should have switched to like Chaos Cubes in a way. But because of this, and because of their whole underfunding and their rush to get themselves training, well, they're probably too late at this point because now Dark Voyager has possessed the last 0-point shard and is now heading back to Reality 337 to do his final plan, which is to sneak upon the Foundation and the Ice King's proxy war to sneak through the last of the 3 0-point shards across the island, and once he does that, he will be rebuilding the entire 0-point with the last shard he'll be placing somewhere around Act 3 and Act 4. But how's this all gonna progress over here? Well, this is where I'm gonna be explaining this right now, guys, because this is all taking place throughout May. And because of this, Dark Voyager has to do this on a rush because he knows that he has to get the 0-point build to get the grand finale going, and to do the final act, he'll be taking apart the vault once the vault opens in Reality Unknown, and he'll be taking this vault and then place it towards Lethal Labs and then place the 0-point from there, and this is where the last reality's reign of terror begins from here. But because of this instance, the elites are not worrying about it, because the elites are already knowing that this is already just the beginning, and it turns out they're just calling from way more backup to go and get that Dark Harvester from here, as they are going to be training a lot of loopers and former Imagined Order members, as well as those from the Oathbound, and this entire proxy war is going to get even crazier. And yes, this is a proxy war because Dark Voyager has implemented the Foundation and the Ice King to have rivalries to fight each other, but then Zodiac had to literally coerce them to not fight each other and focus on uniting each other to begin focusing on the Dark Voyager and the last reality, because this is the mentality of Zodiac. She's not like how it was when the Imagined Order in its olden days trying to defeat the Seven in order to take back control across the whole Reality Zero, because the Seven has been implementing their plans to do so for years. And because Zodiac is seeing all this weakness, she has to let the Foundation and the Ice King know that this is not worth of fighting for, and fighting each other is not the only way to go through this, because the only way to do so is to stop the rivalry crap and go and face the Dark Voyager from here, which is going to be in the next couple of days to weeks. As if we could see through the leaks over there, the Dark Voyager's Dark Harvester is going to arrive at Reality 266 pretty soon, somewhere around the northwestern parts of Blanket Land. And if you could look further more of the leaks over there, we could see the progress of the 0-points reconstruction over there. You could see it starts off with the 4th shard, and then the 5th shard, and then the 6th shard altogether, but we don't see the 7th shard because it's still under development. But still, this is what's going to be happening through Act 3 and Act 4 of Fortnite Showdown, or shall I say epilogue for Act 4 of Fortnite Showdown. And then not only the elites, the Ice Kingdom, and the Seven, well, the new Seven are getting involved in this, but it's also clear that the home base from the Save the World reality is also joining in the fight against the Dark Voyager, since they also got interfered that the Dark Voyager had entered their reality too, because he was just using the Dark Harvester to scan through their entire planet in order to scan for the last 0-point shard from there, and the Dark Voyager doesn't see this over there. Before that, he was actually in the Reality Unknown scanning through a lake down there, and he find that it was just no 0-point shard from there, only just the 0-point probably in its very dangerous red state, because if you don't remember, the 0 point from Reality Unknown has been corrupted by Revan, and it's probably turning red right now, similar to this one from Collision. It's probably the same thing from here inside the vault. But it's not because there's no 0 point shard from there. He's scanning Loot Lake because the Dark Voyager knows that the vault is located from there. And what's going to happen from here is that as soon as the vault reopens from, like, you know, the unvaulting event once again, the Dark Voyager's Dark Harvester would have greater chance of probably coming back in some ways, trying to abduct the vault and questionably bring it here to Reality 266 and then place it on top of Dark Dominion to complete its entire prize or something, and then we'll place the 0 point shard here. I think what's gonna happen from here is that what I just explained is the OG vault that is going to be placed on top of Dark Dominion in another reality. Because mind you, the very last time we have seen the vault in appearance was Season X, and the last time we see it through like this hologram in Chapter 6 Season 3 and Utopia City, where the Supernovas have proposed a plan to create a massive vault over here to keep the 0 point in case they find the shards, and it is also funded by Vitus alone. And as of Chapter 7, Dark Voyager is doing this for us, but not in a way that we are not expecting, but in a way where Dark Voyager is doing this to take full extensional control, as I mentioned this in my previous videos, especially for Dark Voyager Fortnite Origins. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. And in these cases, if you want me to make a part 2 of the Dark Voyager Fortnite Origins, I can. And if you want me to make a part 2 of Dark Voyager Fortnite Origins, let me know in the comments below, and I'll do so probably around this month or next month or two after Fortnite Chapter 7 Season 2, as all this progresses from here. And if I go into the game over there, as you can see, the crack is right over there, and this indicates that Dark Voyager is coming back in a faster pace, and we're going to be going to take a look over here, and this is where I'm going to be explaining this on how these events are going to progress further from late Act 2 to nearly Act 3, and then later on epilogue through chronological order on what's going to be happening through here. Okay, so as I take a look from over here, guys, the crack is on Dark Dominion, and this is like a much more upgraded version of Lethal Labs. And as you can see down here, you can see the 3 0 point shards that he recently has on his possession, along with the Ice King reality shard right here, the one where the lighthouse is, where Squibbly Shores is operating in, and you can see the other one next to the new sanctuary over there. And just to give a little bit of recap on what has been happening through Chapter 7 Season 1 and Season 2, Dark Voyager was just scanning through. He took over Eneloop Labs, then he renamed it to Lethal Labs. And as you can see, this is not actually Dark Voyager from over there. It turns out that these Dark Voyager, as you see on the floor over there, next to the 0 point shards, these are called Dark Voyager Echoes, and they're basically just hollow copies of Dark Voyager, probably minions or so, similar to those Dark Marauders from, like, you know, the earlier chapters and seasons, probably related to the Dark Voyager before he was appeared to be a cute person. But yeah, these are basically just the Dark Marauders, but in a different form. But yeah, not to go on off topic about this whole thing, let's continue over what's been happening from these seasons through Chapter 7. Dark Voyager took over Eneloop Labs, he turned it to Lethal Labs, he scanned the Reality 783 shard from there, and as you take a look, he was able to spawn a massive rift that leads to a green reality, and as he go up, he went to get the second 0 point shard, which is probably the largest shard he have ever gotten, which is basically like a combination of smaller shards to make a bigger shard. And as a result, he was able to come back here and was able to bring the second shard using the claw-like structure, also known as the tractor beam. He was able to levitate the entire shard down and place it next to the Reality 783 shard as like a massive puzzle. And then he decides to take a break for a little bit to scan over to find the third 0 point shard, in which he was able to grab Fishstick through the Fortnite Showdown teasers and told Fishstick on where's the last 0 point shard and gave him a last chance. As he scanned through outer space, he finds it that the third 0 point shard is in Reality 7021. He goes to Reality 7021. He was able to get the third 0 point shard from underwater. He was able to drain the entire ocean, causing the population to just, you know, lack of water, so they're basically just dying from there. And then Dark Voyager was able to get Squibbly along with it. He brings the third 0 point shard from there, and not only that, he was also able to possess the core. He was able to take out the core from out of nowhere and was able to blast it a few more beams until the last one, which revealed those other 4 realities. The Ice King reality, this some type of other reality, Probably related to Reality 7021 in a ways, but probably it's not the same lighthouse from there. But still has enough for like Squibbly to inhabit this place. And then you get this other reality with a bunch of grass and desert, which is now next to the new sanctuary. And as a result, Dark Voyager has finished his job, although the Dark Harvester was running out of power from there. This gave him enough time to recharge his shoal ship again, and it's probably at some unknown time that I just realized that Jules was probably stealing the Dark Harvester, and then the last reality had to go get it to bring it back to the Dark Voyager. No way, they brought the Stronghold. How did I not even see that? Like, I was checking on X, Twitter X, and then I see this. It's the Elite Stronghold. That's like part of it that the Voyager was able to abduct. And there's a rift right over there. 'Cause earlier there was one right here. So if we get closer to the Elite Stronghold between Squibbly Shores and Wonkaland. Yup, there's a rift right here. Oh my gosh. Let's take a look at this, because this is what Dark Voyager just took from here. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. He just brought... Yo, he just brought an entire stronghold over there. Oh, there's Jules. Oh, okay. I think I understand something.
So, Hope, what's up with those elites?
We seem to be on the same side. Not sure if much else matters.
Uh-huh. And we're sure we want to throw in with them? Because they're very violence forward.
Hey, don't get a bellyache on me now, Jones. Jules is working on some tech that might help us turn the tide.
Interesting. Let's see what Jules is doing. Wait, I think I got it a little mixed up. So I think what happens is that the reason why Jules is there... Oh, wait, okay. Okay, I see what's happening. I see what's happening over there, despite the golden rifts that are spawning. I think I got it mixed up. So I think that got here to Reality 266, and Jules is here to, like, steal the Dark Harvester via loading screen. And I think what's gonna happen is that as soon as, like, the Dark Harvester parks somewhere and Dark Voyager is just doing all these things, Jules is gonna steal it in a way where she's gonna take the Dark Harvester and go somewhere and rage bait the last reality to chase it. It will be like a hey, catch me if you can, like, moment. That's gonna happen. Oh my gosh. Get out here, Batman. Okay, now I understand what's going on now. I think I'm kind of right at this point, because what's gonna happen to Reality 266? I think I'm kind of right at this point. Let me show you the loading screen one more time. And Dark Voyager used that advantage to go to Reality Unknown to find the last 0-point shard from there, but he realized it is not there. It is just a red 0-point, probably corrupted by Revenant Cube, but only to scan the vault for a while until he takes another rift from there and goes to the Save the World reality, and he realized that the 0-point shard is not even there either. And as a result, he finds out that there is a Imagine Order base, since it's an Imagine Order remnant. He finds out that there's a last 0-point shard from over there, so he goes to Reality 337, and as of April 30th, he was able to grab the last 0-point shard, and is soon to be coming back to Reality 266 to place it with the other shards from there. And this is where his big plan begins, to team up with the Ice King at some point, while he is still fighting with the Foundation. And as well as leaks have coming out through these new voice lines, such as, you know, the scientist has been confirmed that he has been lost to the Chrome. Not dead, but lost to the Chrome, probably reshaped. The Visitor Reality 0, not to be confused with the Visitor Reality Unknown, has also been reshaped, similarly as well as the Origin from earlier. The Imagine has been fully deceased since she is not perfect enough, created by Geno, and now we are still waiting for a status of the Paradigm. And once again, guys, just because that they got lost to the Chrome does not mean that it's too late to save the scientists, the Visitor Reality 0, and the Origin, because despite that they were chromed and reshaped, there's gonna have to be some sort of way for the Foundation and the others to like decorrupt them in a way where they would possibly be turned back to normal, get saved from the chrome, and then break the cycle that the last reality has been implementing this since either Chapter 2 Season 8 or Chapter 3 Season 4 Paradise. Because if you can already tell that chrome is basically just a cell organism that does psychokinesis and it can just reshape people defied by its existence. And this happened to the scientist, the visitor, Reality Zero, the Origin. But the good news is there is still a chance to save them, even though that Amy was kind of too late and is distraught because the AI had to literally build a massive body for itself, unless it just used the AIM skin as its own body to go through the rift gate that Stellan built for Geno or the Ageless to travel there again to different realities, and then had to go through outer space to find a scientist, but unfortunately she was unsuccessful, and throughout these chapters Amy learned that the scientist was too late to be saved and has been fully corrupted by the last reality. So Amy decides to find the Order to basically team up and go to reality 783, which goes to reality 266 from there thanks to Jones' distress signal. And this is where we are today. And while still on the topic on Dark Voyager, even though that he did his best to get the last 0-point shard, guys, it will still get to a point where the Foundation is going to be training so much that he has better chances of confronting the Dark Voyager other than the Ice King, since there will be a time where the Ice King and the Foundation had to just, you know, tell themselves on why they just keep fighting. They should not be doing this because they have been used by the Dark Voyager to get those 0-point shards to build a 0-point for the last reality. And as a result, soon, they're probably going to have a plan of teaming up and stop the rivalry altogether and focus on Dark Voyager as a whole, since them and the elites and the home base from the Save the World reality are all going to be teaming up to like make one unified faction, along with some members of the Oathbound, and soon probably Geno or the Ageless, as probably either one or the other are going to be returning to the Fortnite storyline for the first time since either Chapter 3 or Chapter 4. And as a result, they're going to have to make a final plan that before Dark Voyager makes its grand finale on placing the last 0-point shard for there along with the Vo, and decide to make his reign of terror come true, they're gonna make like another like Adventures M game similar to what happened with the 0 Hour, where Hope, Jones, Daigo, and the other loopers alongside of Homer united all together to defeat the Dark Presence to get the 0-point shard from there. A similar type of event is going to happen against the Dark Voyager, or possibly, or more likely, the entire last reality as a whole, if they have enough loopers or hands just to, you know, get this over with already, because the last reality has been implementing this for like billions of years, and since they've been tired of trying to destroy Reality Zero and the 0-point as a whole to bring back the nothing, instead they're just had to implement suffering to everyone else and probably make an imagined order themselves, because that's their dream. But this is not going to happen anytime soon, because soon the Foundation and the others are going to unite each other to defeat against the Dark Voyager. And once Dark Voyager will be defeated soon, that way they will be taking over the 0-point as a whole for the first time since multiple chapters. And these turn of events will go on from here, as Fortnite Chapter 7, Season 3, or Season 4, depending on how well they're doing. These turn events can go from here with a 0-point as it rebuilds itself. With the return of old IO members such as Dr. Sloan, as it's mentioned by Jones, I think this is all gonna get a lot more crazier, because at first probably the Foundation and probably some other members are gonna recognize Dr. Sloan very quick and say, "What are you doing there? I thought blah blah, I thought you were dead and all." And then Dr. Sloan will try to like relax the Foundation because she's alive and she changed her ways, and she would claim to the Foundation that she left the Order and has nothing to do with it anymore, and is sought to join the elites as well, alongside of Zodiad, Jules, and the other people. And I think if more IO members, well, former IO members such as like Gunner or Huntmaster Saber probably gonna return alongside of Dr. Sloan, I think this war is probably gonna get better, guys. And guys, let me know in the comments section, how do you think those turn of events will play out through Fortnite Showdown? Let me know. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. And I will give you guys more updates as Act 3 of Fortnite Showdown is near.
because if he gets full control of the 0 point, it's over.
It's not looking good, Jones. Please tell me you've got something up your sleeve here.
I do know someone, but she's, dangerous.
Good dangerous or bad dangerous?
Both dangerous, but I do trust her. I think. Foundation won't, though.
If you trust her, I trust her. Bring her in.